Well, good morning, everybody. Today is the day I'm basically going to be pushing this car through a 500-mile trip in one day. It's going to happen in two parts. First is going to be a trip to Dayton, and when I get back up to here, that'll be about 400 miles, and then we have a second trip to take immediately thereafter, which will put about another 120 miles round trip on it, giving our trip total to be about 520 miles. Of course, this car has a maximum range of about 215. I know the meter says I've got more. We'll see how true to that it'll be given my driving style. But my time is already slipping away. I was hoping to be on the road about 3 minutes ago, so in the interest of keeping the schedules, I'm going to have to go ahead and get moving. So we'll give you an update here as we progress towards Columbus. Okay, now that I'm away from the Akron City proper, and we're running down towards Columbus here on, I think it's I-71. But anyhow, we kind of the itinerary here is I need to run down to Dayton, Ohio to pick up something for this car. I'll reveal that when we get there. Kind of the plan here is we're going to follow this road down to Columbus. We're about 88 miles away. That's going to be our first charging stop. It's not going to be challenging the range of this car at all on that particular leg. But of course, right now we're running slightly below what the estimates were for the trip planner. We'll see if that picks up a little bit. So, but anyway, we're headed towards Columbus. Our first charge stop is there. Then we run out to Dayton. We pick up an item for this vehicle, and then we return to the same charging place in Columbus. That's where the range test will be on this car. Is that little turnaround. Then pick up charge back up towards Akron. There's a brand spanking new alt fuel place and charging place south of downtown Akron, in kind of a probably not the happiest part of the city, but it's there, and the chances of getting iced are pretty much nil. Get the car. The original plan was to throw in just enough to get the final little hop home and plug it in home, but we're going to stay and get a good strong full charge out of that facility before breezing by the house picking up my partner. And then at that point we run up to Painesville to pick up another item, which will be revealed when that time comes. Then back towards home there, stopping at another DC charger in Stowe. Then from there we put everything we can into the battery, do the final hop home, and then I've got an easy charge on the 120 volt charger at home. So that's kind of where we're looking at today. We'll keep on cruising down the road here, and we'll give you updates as we need to make them. So we'll see you later. Well, I figured it'd probably be a good time to give a little update here. So far, we're still continuing to float around that 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour, which is still well above what the car was rated for. They're kind of behind slightly what I was projecting we should get based on what I've done on the car in the past. One little thing, you can tell it's still quite dark outside. I've seen plenty of lightning out in the distance. Haven't gotten into any rain directly, but I've seen where storms have tracked ahead of me, on occasion on our drive. I'll continue to enjoy the fact it stayed dry for us on this trip. But as it is, according to Google Maps here, we're running about 30 miles to destination. Of course, if you haven't noticed my screen pics here, my speedometer, my cruise control's been set at 55. Hang on to that, because it's what helps maximize the range of the car a little bit, which translates to less time at charging stations. So go a little slower, enjoy the view, even though there ain't much of one at the moment. So let's enjoy the radio and cruise along, so you can hopefully shave off time at charging stations. So far I'm at 65% of battery, which I think is ahead of where we were when we came down to IKEA last fall, or this last summer, on our first little experimental excursion beyond, you know, the safe reaches of town. Keeping on cruising on down towards Columbus. Like I said, we're about 29 miles away. Figure I should be hitting that charging station right about a quarter after-ish, give or take a couple of minutes. So, well, we'll give you an update when we get there. You have a good one. Well, here we are, pulling into the AAA, looking for our first charging stop. And if I don't miss my guess, it looks like it's going to be that little guy right there. And actually, there at the very end, your destination is on the right. I managed to actually meet my estimated economy, if you will. So we're pulling in here at 55% state of charge, EV Go, and for Nissan drivers, this is complimentary, so this will be a free charge for me. So we're going to get this thing plugged in. We're going to get it charged. I think there's enough videos of people plugging in CHAdeMO plugs into Nissan, so I'm not going to bother to record that. So we'll get this thing plugged in and get it charged up, and we'll take advantage of the time to charge to take care of some personal stuff. So we'll catch you on catch back up with you in a little bit. Okay, as you can tell, we do have it plugged in and charging. So this is kind of where we're at right now. According to a better planner, I'm going to need to be here about 30 minutes. We're going for 88%. I'm going to let it have as much as it wants. So here we are. That's what it's looking like on the EV Go charger here for AAA. And this is where we're going to be for a while. So there we go. There's a McNasty over there. I guess I'll go make use of what they have to offer. So, well, and time to head on over and chill out for a while, because this is how we do the EV world. I'll catch you later. Well, here we are, everybody. Sun is up. We're back out on the road. Got finished with our charge. We got it up to 90%, so that should give us enough to get to Dayton to pick up our item and come back this direction. Of course, I had to be stupid and pushed the wrong thing and blew my rat out of the navigator, so I had to put it all back in. That wasn't fun. Well, it gave me something to do, I guess, while waiting for the car to charge. At any rate, we're on I-270 in Columbus, headed towards Dayton. We'll give you some more updates as we get closer. Hello, everybody. Here we are back. We have made it to our stop here in the Dayton area. And this is what we came after. Is a level 2 charger. This one was meant for Nissan. Was built by the Envirotech company for Nissan. So this is what we came down here to get. This will go into and help with our garage rewiring project at home, and that'll make it where I'm not depending on my little portable charger all the time. So that pleases me greatly. So on that point, I'm going to get out of this guy's garage, and I'm going to get headed back home. We got to get back to Columbus and get plugged in again. So see you down the road. Hello, everybody. Okay, now we're back on the road after picking up our level 2 charger, and we're now headed back towards Columbus. So here's where we're actually going to be just really kind of seeing. Here's going to be our range test. Okay, as we leave, we are at 58% battery. There are no DC chargers available nearby, and according to our computer here, our 58% is good for 154 miles. Coming in here was quite a bit of downhill, even though right now we're showing kind of running downhill real good. We're going to be going up. According to the Google map thingy, which dumped my route again, so I'm just at the point where I know where I'm going. I'm putting my destinations in one at a time, and we're showing currently 82 miles. So you do the math. So 82 minus 154, that would be about 72 miles worth of padding we supposedly have. So we're gonna get on down the road. We're gonna get headed back towards Columbus. That same EVgo charger we charged at on the way down is the destination. So I'll probably wander around for some other place to be because I don't want to go back into McDonald's. Yuck. At any rate, we get on down the road when we'll give you updates as we get closer to Columbus. So until then, we will talk to you later. I figured it'd be a good time to give a little bit of an update. We're still about 38 miles away from our stop. Had to break down and turn on the climate control that just got too warm. But at any rate, we're still looking good on our range. I just did a little bit of math in my head. We're looking at about 63 miles-ish of a buffer still on the battery. We're at 39%. I'm not, actually I'm not going to be too concerned because like I said we're not far. So just cruising along. Our average is up where I wanted it to be, and as you can see by the little Insta bar there, we're actually doing a little bit better in the instantaneous than the overall average. So I'll take that. So we're actually doing better than I was expecting on this return path. So looking at this, you see all the bar graphs from when I left. Everything is really up high. So pleased with the efficiency we're returning for this leg of the trip. Makes me comfortable we're going to make it. So it's 80 degrees outside, the sun is out, cooking everything like it always does. And we're going to continue our trek over to Columbus towards our planned charging stop. So we will talk at you later. Greetings everybody, here we are basically on 270 now in the Columbus area. We are down to 29% on the battery. Yeah, we've got lots of space left here, 79 miles. According to Google Maps, we are 12 miles from our charging station. Made it easily. I'm enjoying the long range on this car. It makes it a lot easier, a lot less stressful to get from point to point with charging stops. We'd probably like still another 100 miles of range, but to me anyway, this car is proving very viable for distance. If you don't mind just taking a little bit of extra time and have a couple extra stops versus a gas car. Car's been proving itself very comfortable. Kind of don't hardly feel like I've been out on the road for as far as I've been. We're 272 miles into our drive today, and everything feels good. It's comfortable. Instead I had to cave in and turn on the climate control, not making a big difference on our overall ability to get anywhere. So with that, I'll see you at the charging station. Oh, here we are. We're back at our same charging spot we used earlier today. Of course, now we're on the home stretch. So at the end of this, we came back in here with 68 miles of range still left on the battery. As you can see, actually, I don't know if how well it shows up here, but we are actually at 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour. So we actually improved upon our overall efficiency. So Google over here, they're showing that we've reached this destination. I got to go ahead and program in the next wall we're waiting in to charge, and we'll get kind of a feel as to what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to do a double session here or just do one and get headed up towards Akron. Akron. Well, I'm sure that'll get a chuckle for a few people. But at any rate, we'll get going with this charge, get it plugged in, and we will talk at you in a little while. Okay, a little up to date here. Just as we left the charging station, as you can see, I did not stay the full time. I gave myself basically about an 80-mile buffer to get home, or up to the RTA charger in Akron. I'm going to do my full charge up there, and that way I'm ready to go. Just want to get headed homeward bound and cover as much of this ground as possible. So we are looking at 1250. Google says about 230 before I see the stop over there. So it is what it is. And of course, dumb Google decided that I wanted to talk to it. I did not. So at any rate,
sorry, I can't help with that yet.
yeah, we don't care, Google. I didn't just go away. But at any rate, we're headed northbound up towards Akron. See, traffic's a lot heavier. Yeah, like it better when it's at night and I don't have so many cars. But it is what it is. We're trucking on home, and we're looking at getting over into Akron, get this thing charged up. So we'll give you an update when we get further down the road. Well, everybody, figured it'd be a good update time. We're, I guess, more or less halfway there. 57 miles to our next charging stop. Running I-71 north back towards Akron. Still hanging under that 4.5 miles per kilowatt. It's kind of bounced between 4.4 and 4.5. So we're doing pretty good. As you can see, it's pegged right now. Battery's at about a half, as you can see. Just cruising along. Everything's still just being good as gold. So we keep cruising along. I've got the Leaf Spy going, saying that the battery's about 104 degrees. I don't know how bad that is, or if it matters. Going over to this little guy here, I mean, it says I've got plenty to go before we get into any kind of odd zone. So don't know how linear it is, but it's going to be subjected to well, 2 more charging sessions before everything's all said and done with the date today. I'm still waiting confirmation on one for picking up the motorcycle, and we will see. So before we do the other 120 miles of this trip, I got to make sure that they're still on for us to go over there and pick it up. So at any rate, we will see you down the road. Well, here we are, charge stop number 3. Actually, even built up on our overall economy average so far. 28%. Made it here with 77 miles of range to spare, so that's good. So at this point, it's still a toss-up whether or not our little trip stops here shortly, or if we continue on the other 120 miles, trying to get a hold of the person responsible that we need to for that. So here we are. We're going to be getting this thing filled in or charged up, and we will give you a talk later. Bye. Well, here we go. My first little hitch in my little trip. Well, it's a good thing I have 77 miles of range left. I'll be able to run over to the EV Go at Stowe. At least I know that one works. So, thus far, ChargePoint does not impress me. So even though this would have been a nice little cool place, as you can see, it's quiet. Would have been a good spot to get charged up and not worrying about being iced. That's my concern about the Stowe charger. But here we are. That one don't work, so I guess off to the house. Grab my partner, we'll run up to the Stowe one and go shopping while we're at it. So, well, that's it for now. Thank you. Bye. Well, we got one more update to go here. Basically, we are at the house. So as you can see, odometer says 399.2 miles. Making a quick stop here. And we're going to run up to the EV Go station that I usually use for local DC charging. We're going to get this thing fed. So we'll be pretty much at a holding pattern as far as going up north until we hear from the friend of mine. So we're going to go up there and get this thing charged so we're ready to go either direction by the time we hear from them. So that'll be it for now. Alrighty then, we are at the Stowe location and plugged in. We actually ran into another Leaf owner who was charging when we got here. So we got to meet somebody who had a 2015 with a small battery. And we have an audience who's giving us his opinion of all things, of all things bird. Yeah, hi bird. Bye bird. So anyway, we got in here with 21% battery, up at 23. Probably going to be a double stab on this one because being that low, last time it only got to 50. So once this thing resets, we'll start it over again, and then we'll be heading up. We did hear from a friend of ours, so our trip continues. So, more later. Oh, here we are back on the road. Made sure we had it full up to 80%. This will be
turn left on
one charge left
Road.
On the way home. We're headed up. We heard from that friend of ours. We are headed up to Painesville, Ohio. gonna pick up a toy and head back down this way. I'm gonna hit that very same charger I was just at one more time.
Corners Road ramp to
Then it's going home. And like I said, so far our journey's 410 miles and counting. This little turnaround from here back to here will be another 100 miles. So, and then little leg back
right
home.
Onto the East Stills Corners Road ramp, then merge onto
battery
Ohio
is starting to
North.
show, you know, being repeatedly hit with the quick chargers. It's showing a little bit high on the temperature. So hopefully that'll cool off a little bit. It's still in safe zone, but it's about as warm as I want to see it get. But we'll keep an eye on things. At any rate, getting on the highway, so we will talk at you later. Well, here we go. The reason for the going from 400 to 520 miles. We came here to pick up this little guy. Got it cheap. Little Yamaha V-Star, 650 something cc plane. Enough power to play, but nothing to get too terrible amount of trouble with. Little shaft drive, bagged. A couple of speakers to take off. It'll be a good little runner. Good little vroom. Anyway, once we get the paperwork taken care of on that, we're going to gear up and get on the return side, back over to the stove charger. So we will see you then.
Columbus.
Greetings everybody, just a little update on our little travel vlog here. As you see, we're on our way back over to Stowe. The sun's coming down, started in the dark, going to finish in the dark. There's a partner back here behind me on the bike following me back home. And we're just doing our little cruise here, about 477 miles into it, about 54% on the battery, more than enough to get back to Stowe. That'll be our final charge, and once we get charged up to 80%, take it home, park it, stick it back on the trickle charger, like we normally do, and let it finish up the difference on it. So, it's been a successful trip. I've rather enjoyed, you know, driving like this. Yeah, it takes a little longer with the having to stop and charge, but to me it's worth it. The total fuel cost for this drive is literally $0.00. Every charge I've had today has been free. So other than the one charger being broken, it's been a pretty smooth trip. Our last stop at the Stowe, we actually had an older Nissan Leaf sitting there charging. We just had to wait a few minutes for him to come out, and he was ready to go ahead and pass the charger over to us. So, you know, getting to enjoy a little bit of that EV community and how much more considerate they are than the regular gas car drivers, it seems. So, at any rate, we keep motivating south towards our charging stop, and we'll give you an update later on. Well, here we are at the Stowe, back over at the Stowe charger. Final charge of the day. Got our battery at 43%. So basically all we're going for is getting it up to a level that just be easier on the trickle charger when we get home. So, almost done. 506 miles, only about 11 left to go. So, we'll get this thing plugged in and get it ready to go home. Well, here we're back on the road on the final home stretch. We went out to check the charger right about the time it was going to shut down. It was already starting to throttle for temperature. Yay for air-cooled batteries. So, at any rate, the car did well. Definitely it would be improved if Nissan would quit being afraid of liquid cooling and go with those, because you get faster charge times. But other than that, car did great, unless the battery's a little hot and angry from all the DC charges. So, get it home, and we'll let the trickle charger to make up the difference when I get home. So 75%, be probably closest to 72. But the car performed admirably. I'm pleased. And I think she'll be good for long distance road trips, just so long as we don't get in a massive hurry and give a little bit of extra time. And probably plan, you know, try to maximize the distance as much as possible between DC charges. That way we can kind of get more bang for our buck on the miles. But I'm happy. Car did well. Like I said, we're on the final trip home, and actually what the temps are outside right now, the battery will be cooling off on the way too. So, Alright, we will give the final deal when we get home with the final mile tally. So we'll see you all later. Well, we are home at the house. Total mileage for the day, 516.7. I'll be plugging in a trickle charger at 72% on the battery. All in all, let's see, 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour. I'll have to do some math to know what the miles per gallon equivalent is for gas. It's going to be very high. I'm pleased. So the car did well. We are home. You got to put a motorcycle away and get a charger out of the car and get ourselves bunked down for the night. So, well, until next time, we will talk at you later.